All right, we are live. What's going on, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. How about you?
I'm doing awesome. Pretty excited to be chilling tonight. We are live streaming in several different places, so if you guys are watching, do us a favor and just comment what your weather's like today, kind of where you guys are watching from, um, and that just kind of helps push this out to more people. We're live on the Great Lakes Laser Supply page. We're live on the Great Lakes YouTube. Where do you have us live streaming to?
I'm live streaming to my Facebook profile and my YouTube channel, Alan the Maker.
Cool. I think all of our YouTube comments should come to one place here. Um, I am not sure on the Facebook comments. So if you guys are watching on Facebook, there we go. I see some comments starting to roll in. What's going on, Larry? What's up, Ginger? How are you doing? Dawn is watching. She's watching from Kansas City. Are you able to see? I'm not seeing any comments in StreamYard yet. It is
Yep,
supposed to post them all.
me either. All destinations.
What's going on, Bill? How are you doing? Joshua, how's it going? What's up, Jeff? Well, not a big deal. I will mention some comments since I'm able to see them. I'll tell Alan if we do have any big questions coming in that you guys want to ask. But we're just hanging out tonight. If anybody is not aware who Alan is, I really wanted them to be introduced, kind of learn about Alan, learn about his groups. I had the honor of watching Alan at the Michigan Laser Summit give a presentation on photo engraving. He had his fiber laser there, and just seeing the magic that he was able to work with that thing was pretty incredible. And now having like a new friendship and following him on social media and seeing some of the cool stuff that he does, it's unreal. And not to mention the show and tell table at the summit where he had some of his stuff you could really get your hands on and see. It was pretty cool stuff. Do you want to start off kind of with your maybe what you started with on your laser journey? What got you started?
Sure. So, I've been working with CNC machines and robotics for a long time, and I've always wanted to have my own little machine. Nothing like working all day on machines to come home and work on more machines,
Yeah.
uh, but to do it on my time and my terms. And I really wanted a CNC router. But as you can see, I don't have a very large space in the corner of my garage. If I were to turn the camera, you'd see I got a boat and other stuff in here. This is truly my garage. This is the lab,
Yeah.
and everything that's entailed with the CNC machine and the chip collection and all the stuff. I don't have the infrastructure for it, so I started looking at lasers, and they definitely seem more practical. You can have a little vent like this. The fume
Mm-hmm.
extraction different than like dust extraction, much quieter as well. So I could be up at 2 in the morning, lasering on three different lasers, and it's not making noise. I'm not waking my neighbors up. Just light shining through the garage door. Uh, but I started with the X Tool D1, the non-pro, back in the laser box basic days. So like old school, over 2 years ago. And since then, I've acquired a bunch of different diode lasers. Like you had mentioned, I got the 30-watt fiber from Pascal. I really love that machine.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I started out like everybody else, just trying to figure out what I really wanted to do with it, doing projects, buying files from Etsy, just stuff that I liked. And I happened to stumble upon the Imajar group, free laser engraving files, and I saw some of the stuff that they were doing with photographs and photo engraving. I was like, well, this is interesting. This is another aspect of this machine that never touched yet, and it's a little bit different than doing like vectors and cutting, So I immediately fell in love with it. I saw some of the work that some of the bigger guys were doing, like Nicky Norton and Lukey, the owner of the Imajar, and all the guys that are associated with that. And I knew immediately that that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I just started working on my skills, getting to know my lasers, really getting to understand what all the different parameters are, what DPI is, low line interval, and, just really maximizing my image quality on my laser engraver, even on something as simple as my little 10-watt X tool. And it wasn't long after that the Imajar, they were looking for content creators. And I had finally honed my skills enough to where I was making some quality photos. And they were like, hey, you want to start making content? Like, this was right at the cusp of when AI, like AI art generation was still really in its infantile phase. It wasn't as easily accessible.
Yeah.
So I started making photos, doing more like that type of work, less like photos. I was doing photos of the family and stuff and mirrors and just making gifts to now. They gave us a channel called laser-pix.com. So
Oh,
now I actually have a channel to where like some of the artwork, like this guy right here, he's actually on there. I think this one might even be a free file that you can download, and it's not
really?
just the original image. You can actually download the prepped image that I made in Imajar. The actual file that I engraved, and it's similar to this one. Everything that we're going to see here as far as what would be the AI work. This one I haven't put on there yet. Probably either tonight or tomorrow night I'll have this one up there. But it was really awesome that he gave us a facet to be able to do this artwork and be able to give me purpose, so to say, to where I could do more work, really try and sharpen my skills even more, even
Yeah.
on different materials. Like this we're looking at here is a tile. All these, this is wood. This is some of my recent testing. I've been
You want to
working with
tell us
some like,
about what you're testing here?
yeah, sure. So I've been working on probably for over a year or so, but really in the last like 3 or 4 months, I've been working really hard to come up with a formulation for a wood laser marking spray. Like, we're familiar with the laser marking sprays, like on metal, you spray it on metal, you laser it, and I get a black mark. I'm trying to do a similar concept for like diode lasers and CO2 lasers to where, you can really capture all the contrast. There's no depth on those images. So like, even though they look really crisp, if you were to run your hands across it, it's completely smooth. Uh, the one on the far right, it's more like a 3D illusion. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a photographic image or if you're doing AI and you're trying to get 3D illusion. I'm trying to make a type of marking spray that checks all the boxes, is easy to apply, is practical, and at some point I'd like to maybe bring it to market.
That's really exciting. Those pictures are unreal. Jeff is commenting. I really struggle with photo engraving. I'm not gonna give up though. Where's a good place for Jeff to start? Where would you direct him to start to dial in? Or I've seen your checklist, but where can he go to find that?
I have some of that is on my YouTube channel. I do have a
Okay.
couple videos that show like my process when I prep an imager, and then I have one for like a mirror. I have one for painted canvas is something I like to do. Spray painted canvas, a bunch of different colors, or a tile. It all applies. Just anything painted. Whether it's black and white or I do a gradient. It's a bunch of colors, and it's a dragon and it's breathing fire or something like that. I think was the example I had on there.
Yeah.
But obviously YouTube is a good start. I can't stress enough the groups, especially the Imajar group, free laser engraving files. There's almost 200,000 members. There is so much content in there. Literally, if you're getting into a new material, you can go to the search bar, type in the material, and you can see everybody's work. Some of them share settings. I think Imajar even has a bunch of videos explaining like DPI. They really kind of break it down. Like, what is DPI? And that's something that is easily overlooked, especially as these machines become more commercialized. And, kind of like they said on Shop Talk last week, they're like, the machines are becoming like appliances, and they truly
Yeah.
are becoming appliances. And it's easy to overlook a lot of these variables and these settings because these machines are coming with presets essentially,
Yeah.
so it's all kind of handled for you. You don't have to learn that kind of stuff anymore, which makes it kind of hard to be able to maximize everything because you're just using what you have given to you.
Back in
I'm
my
really just
day,
trying to, yeah, exactly, exactly. Now I'm really
it was
trying to just spread the good word.
it was funny the way you said it. You were like, "Oh, like 2 years ago when I got started." The way you said that made it seem like so long ago. We're in the same boat. We're rolling into, I want to say, next year will be our 4th year in the laser game.
That's
Pam
awesome,
was
man.
asking your YouTube channel, but your YouTube channel is Alan the Maker, correct?
That's correct. Yep, Alan the
Okay.
Maker.
Yeah, if somebody on the Facebook side is able to paste that in there, that would be helpful. Just Alan the Maker, just so that everybody else can see. Joshua Garza says Alan is one of the most passionate and smartest men I've ever met. The skills and drive behind this man is insane. I would have to agree.
I appreciate it, Josh. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with Josh, and we both worked in heavy equipment, and he still works in heavy equipment. He's owned an X tool. I think he owns a desktop water jet. Even he has a water jet in
Wow.
his garage. So he's definitely a maker as well. And so I really appreciate it, Josh. It's really awesome.
That's awesome. I would agree. I don't know why. I don't know if I should say this or not, but when I first met Alan, for some reason, we're in the Michigan group together. I thought he was like an older guy, like in no negative way at all, but I just assumed he was an older gentleman. And I'm setting up my booth. I got there a little late and I look over and he's in the gym. I'm like, oh, that must be Alan. But then when I met him, I'm like, okay, he seems like 20 years younger than I expected for some reason. So it was a
Appreciate
pleasure.
that.
Yeah, it was a pleasure getting to meet him and maybe sipping on some whiskey with him. It was good times, definitely.
It was an honor to be a part of all that, and I can't stress I appreciate you and David and everybody who put all that on.
Yeah.
Kathy, thank you guys. That's probably the highlight of my laser year so far. Was being able to go and just talk to so many like-minded individuals, and it's always refreshing to talk about stuff that you're really passionate about. It's just maybe in your daily life, and at your work, it's hard to explain this type of stuff and for them to be as passionate as you are. So it's really awesome sharing, tribal knowledge and, just being able to talk about stuff that we really like and even helping people grow their business. And, not that, photo engraving is a huge portion of the laser engraving business, but, if we can find a way to commercialize that, I would definitely try to exploit that for you guys.
It was awesome, and I like the Michigan group because it's so close knit. And to be honest, I got the same feeling at Next Level Laser Conference that was insane. But it is just nice that you got somebody that we try to grow the network. Like you may meet somebody that's 30 minutes, 45 minutes away, and you're able to utilize them if you're ever in trouble. Your laser's down and you got some orders or you need help. So that community aspect and growing that network is pretty cool.
And I didn't realize,
Yeah,
how many like-minded people there were. And you're absolutely right. I'm hoping to be able to attend some of these conferences now. I'm really just breaking out of my shell this year. So I'm going to be at LBX next year.
nice.
100%. I tried to get on the board to talk, but I was late. So they were like, no, just apply for the next one, please. Like, okay, thanks.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
that's awesome. Tracy was asking what page you mentioned. What's your Facebook group? I don't know if Tracy, I don't know if you're talking about his Facebook group or the other Image R group. There's multiple Image R groups, correct?
There's kind of like a series of the imager groups. Mine is laser engraving tips and tricks, free imager files.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I post a comment here. It says they won't go to some destination, so I probably won't even be
Okay.
able to post that here. But maybe I
Tracy
could try.
seemed like he was watching in YouTube, maybe and Facebook, but I'm not sure which one he's at now. But either way, we can definitely post some of these links in the comments here, and then or if somebody posts them on Facebook, we can cross post them. I've got them both open. There it is.
Perfect. Yeah, so it definitely went to my YouTube. I don't think it's gonna let me post to Facebook, but if you're watching on YouTube, hopefully that
I'll
went
copy
through
and
for you.
paste it over. Oh,
Appreciate
it's got
that.
it blocked. Oh, geez. Oh,
Oh, there we
we
go.
go. That helps.
Nice.
Now everybody can see
That's
it.
awesome.
I
Yeah,
didn't know
that's
what I was
awesome.
doing there. Well, cool.
That's cool. I just learned something too. Learned together.
I know you obviously are so passionate about the pictures and photographs. That's you obviously probably love doing those, I assume. But is there something that you like doing more than photographs?
I like to do custom one-off things. It doesn't have to be a photo. It can be vector engraving. Like, last night I had the pleasure of doing a gun stock. And actually, I got that guy right here. You might be able to see
I
this.
saw that. That thing was pretty cool.
Not a photo. A little bit more simple, vector.
Yeah.
And wood, whatever. But it turned out cool. And he's really happy with it. So I'll drop it off to him tomorrow as one of my buddies. But,
that's cool.
I just like to make custom, personalized, like one-of-a-kind stuff.
Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate you sharing that there. Can anybody else share the link to Image R? You want to explain? It's kind of hard to explain. Explain what Image R is for a couple of people. Pam was asking some questions.
Sure. So it is I want to say a free software, but if you go to imageart.com, you you get like a couple tries a day. You get like 3 tries a day or something like that, until you buy a license, which is like $15 for the month. Like, I don't know exactly how much it is for the year, but they've got different tiers of licensing. So essentially, it replaces apps like GIMP and Photoshop, and it takes all the elements that you would use in Photoshop to be able to edit the image and puts them all in like easy to click buttons and slide bars. It
Mm-hmm.
makes it all like kind of straightforward. Uh, where it really excels is you can do what's called dithering, or selecting an algorithm to be able to turn your image into a dot pattern. And the dot pattern will be based on the size of your laser spot. And it'll let you see that before you process it, before you send it to the laser, so you get an idea of what it's actually going to look like. Like
Yeah.
if you're in Lightburn, similar, like bringing it into Lightburn and selecting Jarvis or Stuki or something like that. ImageR has its own algorithms per se, and you can see and really touch and feel, for lack of a better term, kind of see the massaging and changes that you're doing to the image before you bring it into Lightburn, or you bring it into XCS or your Glowforge or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is you can, like you said, slide bar. So you're able to kind of see the effect without just kind of clicking OK or done. Like, you get to really pick what looks best. I don't know. Oh, that's decent. So this is actually the one Alan helped me do at the Michigan Summit. This is Molly and I at our wedding, and Emma and Rachel on our wedding day. So this is kind of a cool one to make in person and run through those tests with you. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's so awesome, man. And it looks really good on camera. So, despite whatever it may look like in person, like
It
it was a
doesn't
really
look as
good
good as
image.
yours, I'll tell you that.
Well,
But I think you've got super high res images, and this was I think it's somebody downloaded from Facebook real quick.
RD works. Yeah, I think that's like a laser like software, like a running software, kind of
Mm-hmm.
similar to Lightburn. I have no experience with it. I have a ton of experience with Lightburn. Uh, I might be biased, but if I were to guess, I'd say Lightburn. Maybe it's not more powerful, but if anything, it's got to be more user friendly. I don't know if they're still updating RD Works, but Lightburn's getting constant updates. The team that works on it, they're in the community, they're in the groups, they're really passionate. I
Mm-hmm.
came with the Boss Laser. Yep. So that must be their like proprietary software, which that's okay. A lot of machines use that, like Glowforge. The X tools, they have XCS. If you're using the app like ImageR, well, there's a workflow for those systems that you're using, and it's very simple, actually.
Are you able to, Brian? Are you able to use Lightburn with a boss? I could Google that and find out. But if you're able to use Lightburn with the boss, I would just run towards it. I didn't want to have to learn another software. Molly was a little worried about learning another software, but on day one, we were able to get our laser going and start using Lightburn on day one because of how easy and user friendly it is. You've got resources, like Alan out there, the Louisiana hobby guy. I mean,
Hmm.
because of him, almost him solely, we were able to fire that laser on the first day because Lightburn is just so user friendly. You get that 30-day trial. I don't know if you've utilized that yet, but that's a great resource too. Just being able to practice with it and feel confident in what you're spending your money on. I took classes for Adobe Illustrator, and after learning some of those skills in Adobe Illustrator, I was able to adapt a lot of those, and I just opened up new possibilities right in Lightburn without even having to use Adobe Illustrator, just because I understood the design concept a little more. Brian said I'll do this. He said he just downloaded the free trial, but hasn't played with it yet because he has orders. That makes sense.
It's
Yeah.
Q4. Totally understandable, dude.
Yep. we've got somebody in the Michigan group and in Great Lakes. His name is Chris. He's going to be buying my fiber laser that I have now. I'm switching to that 30 watt from Pascal, and kind of the same thing. I've got a craft show on Saturday, and I'm like, let's wait until after Saturday to make the old switch because I just don't want to run into, oh shoot, I got to figure out the leatherette settings or some odd material that I know that I've got 100% dialed in right now on my 50 watt.
For sure. And it definitely is going to
Yeah.
be like that, and that's awesome, and it's great that you say that because not every laser is the same, and the one you have now is a 50 watt and that one's a 30 watt and they're both JPT, but the settings are going to be radically different.
Yep. My 30 is a Rakis.
Oh, okay. Well, even Rakis to JPT, I believe that obviously they have different frequency ranges, but even 1-to-1, I think the outputs are even a little bit different. So
yeah.
Test, right? Like they say, run the grids, run the tests. That's another thing Lightburn does for you. It allows you to make those test grids really quickly. It is a powerful
don't be
tool.
afraid of running a test grid. That's a huge opportunity, I think, for everybody. Tracy said he needs to download it ASAP. Tracy wanted to pay me to do some quick image work for him last night. I wish I could. I wanted to make a video to show him how quick and easy it was, but I worked on 3 images for him. I've rarely exported out of Lightburn, so I didn't realize that when you export, it only exports the one that you have highlighted. So it took me a couple tries to get him the files that he needed.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why isn't it doing what it's supposed to be doing?
Yeah,
But it was,
it's doing exactly what you're telling it to do. Actually, it's so precise. Like,
yep, exactly. But fire some questions, guys. If you guys got any questions for Alan for engraving photos, or any general questions, it doesn't even have to be laser related. We're just here to chat and talk. Pam says, I've got a Glowforge Pro and an Xtool F1. Can I use Lightburn and then export the file to my machines? That's a good question.
Yes, you can, depending on the file format and what you're doing to the image or whatever it may be. If you're making a vector and you're using Lightburn for its vector creation capabilities and you're drawing and making shapes and designs, well then absolutely. I'm going to recommend that. That might be one of the best softwares to do that in right now.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know that a lot of people would say that it is design software. I mean, it is design software, but it's just at a very low level. But once I got familiar, it was so funny going into work that I did like a year and a half or 2 years ago. Like, what in the world was I doing? And now I can redesign and remake something in seconds that it took me, an hour before. It's really great software. It is design software, but it's just
Maybe more so now than it was. A year ago it was, maybe not lacking, but it didn't have a lot of the capabilities. Like, I've used AutoCAD LT, AutoCAD Lite for almost 15 years. So like, I was in the beginning designing in AutoCAD and then bringing it into Lightburn. But now they've got a lot of the same tools. They got trim and fillet and all these different commands and functions that you can do in there that, it makes it, once you understand where the buttons are and what the hotkeys are, just like any design software, it starts to get easier.
Yeah. I
and
definitely
it's nice
agree.
to work all in the same software. At the export goes right to the laser. Literally, I'm applying the colors to it, but the colors are the layers, and those are my settings. So.
Pam said, awesome, another software to learn. She hates, is it Corel or Coral Draw? How do you pronounce that?
I want to say it's Corel Draw.
Okay.
Corel.
Why? And that's design software. So I don't know. I mean, if you're not going to use Lightburn to operate your laser, I don't know that, it's really the best thing for you, Pam. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But maybe throw that question out in the groups.
For sure. It's nice. Lightburn is really nice because you can do it all in one package and run the lasers. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I know a lot of people use like Procreate and Canva and Corel Draw, and I think you mentioned another one earlier. Like those are all really viable options.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the Glowforge users actually use like Adobe Illustrator or some of those other. It's really common.
Okay. She said, will do. So what's next? You're working on a potential product to launch. What else is in your pipeline?
Really just gearing up, trying to make a bunch of Christmas images. Kind of shared some of them, but I haven't uploaded any of them yet.
Whoa.
A lot of the 3D stuff,
What's what substrate is that?
So this is just some cheap Chinese basswood that I've applied that laser marking spray. I allow it to dry, and depending
Mm,
on the color of the wood, I can either change the pigment color, or this I kind of like the natural wood color. It's got like a little natural. You can see the graining, but it still gets the detail pretty well.
that is so 3D. Honestly, at first glance, I thought that was I thought it was like a deep engraving in like a rock or something.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, dude. I really appreciate that. I think I got a couple more of them here. Let's see.
Larry says Lightburn doesn't run CDR files. Um, I know there is a newer format that it does work with that it did not when I first got it, but all you got to do is convert that CDR. It's pretty easy online. I use a CDR converter for different files that I have or use.
Nice. Well, is there a way in Corel to be able to just export as the file type that you're looking for? I have no experience
Can't
with it, so
think
it just
of. There is one more. There's Corel. What's the other one people use? I can't think of the name of it. Oh, I lost my window. But there's another. I was solely using the software to convert files. People are like, oh, have you ever used this software? I use it to convert my files. That's about it. But I'm not
which
sure. I can't think
software
of the
is
name of it
just a
offhand.
tool. So like, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with using it, whatever's conducive for your workflow. I
Mm-hmm.
can't stress enough. Get comfortable, get your workflow down, and then start to try stuff, and then experiment. Get a good workflow before you start to experiment.
Mm-hmm. Do you one thing that's kind of been on my heart lately is talking about kind of taking joy in the hardships of what we do. Some people get down on themselves on in their business, in life. Do you have any experience with kind of, finding joy in the process?
Absolutely. I've always really liked the challenge, and like I'm at the point in my laser experience now with all my other machine knowledge, and it's kind of like, if I run into a project where I'm like, well, this is really challenging, especially if I'm able to get through it, get the results that I'm looking for, well, that's really rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And it may even be acquiring a new skill set that you're going to have with you for the rest of your life, the rest of your business career, whatever it may be.
How
So,
do you handle like
absolutely.
what when something goes wrong? How do you what keeps you going?
Uh, I think I really like the laser engraving. I really like the community. I love to
Mm-hmm.
share my work, and I like to see people's reactions on my work. That's like the biggest thing for me, is putting my work out there and getting
Mm-hmm.
critiqued, and seeing what people think. And they're like, oh, I like this, or I don't like that. I can't stress enough. Sometimes, if you're the criticism, it can be hard. It can be hard, but if you use that as like a tool to work off of, and use that, and just take what people are saying, and or what you're dealing with, and just find ways to make it better, work around it. I do enjoy a good challenge. So I know that's not for everybody. I'd say
Yeah.
if you're having a hard time, there's plenty of resources out there. If you're struggling, someone else has probably had the same struggle as you. And I can't stress enough, just get out on the community, join these groups. There's so many awesome laser groups out there. Like,
Yeah.
I know nobody wants, just like, oh, I want to do a new software. Like, oh, great, I'm going to join another laser group. I know my entire feed is nothing but laser groups. So, and that's a testament in its own, to the challenges that I want to overcome, or I have overcome, and learning new materials and substrates. Like, if I start a new material, I'm right to the page, right to that search bar, like everybody's saying. They're like, don't ask for settings. I'm like, well, you can ask for settings. It's nothing wrong with that. But odds are someone's already tried it, or struggled with it, or destroyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. There is tons of good support out there in the laser groups. I find myself like my other interests or hobbies, I feel like are gone. I found myself today like unfollowing a couple of non-laser groups. It's like I'm
Same.
sick. That keeps coming up in my feed. I don't even want to hear about that anymore. Like
Yep.
I love talking about lasers. I love helping people in their laser businesses and stuff like that. So that's brings me a lot of joy. I know in those hardships, it can be really tough sometimes for people. I had somebody ask, about our laser, and not everybody can, afford to buy a new laser. Like I was unboxing, this week with my laser from Pascal. And what people don't know, like, I didn't get that laser because I needed another fiber laser. I wanted to be able to, almost that person's, what they had to say was almost my reasoning for getting it. My 50 watt that I have with everything that I added on was almost $6,000.
Mhm.
You can get into that 30 watt Rakis for under $2,000. That's a third of the price. So I didn't get that laser because I needed another fiber. I wanted to be able to demonstrate and show people that you don't have to spend $6,000 to be able to do some of that stuff with a fiber laser. If they wanted to add in something to take to shows to do metal products or leatherette or some of those things, I wanted to show them that that option's out there for a lot less money. So, that was some of my reasoning behind getting that laser. Um,
Really
just
awesome, man. And
yeah,
you really are so supportive to the community, and I'm really honored to be on here with you tonight, talking with you, just hanging out, dude. Like I really
thanks.
appreciate it.
I appreciate
Uh,
it.
yeah, you've been really supportive of me, and it's really opened my eyes to that portion of the community. It does exist, and I love your group. I love seeing how passionate the people in your group are, and I've been seeing people come out in your group and say that they found a safe space finally, and I
Mhm.
would agree that your group is really geared towards just the overall laser community, helping build business, helping find the right equipment. Just it's really supportive. So it's that's one of the things that helps keep me engaged is stuff like that exists, and
I
I want to
agree.
be part of that community, dude.
I love our group. In talking to people, I get messages and phone calls literally 24/7. People
I
from the
bet.
group, hey, what are the settings for this? Or can I do a hack clip with that? And I enjoy helping people, helping them figure things out. Um,
Yeah, and you got
yeah,
awesome products, and you
thanks.
got awesome products. Like we haven't even talked about that yet, and that's what this, that's what this platform is actually all about, And I've had the pleasure of actually engraving some of your products, and yes, those hat clips are really awesome. They are addictive.
To be honest though, it's not about the products. I obviously I want to be able to do this full time, and the products will help make that happen. They're
Mhm.
going to be a help means to the end. But because of the group, I'm able to fulfill like my real passion, and that's helping people. Um
That's
so
awesome,
that,
man. I
it
feel it. I see it.
it is, don't get me wrong, it is about the products, and I try to be innovative and find new products. We've got
Yeah,
some new
yeah, man.
stuff.
It's not about the products. You're right. I guess I shouldn't say that. The platform was probably built, as that, but it's become
Yeah.
so much more than that, man.
No, I didn't take it in a bad way at all. But we've got new stuff coming, and I don't know, true, like really helping. I wish if there was a way for me to quit my job and to just help all the people, I would do that immediately. Like I don't, but I got to
I
figure out a
do.
way to monetize.
Yeah, for sure. And that is really tough. It's really tough, especially when, like you said, you're juggling it 24/7. I don't get it 24/7, but it is tough when you're like trying to
Mhm.
have dinner with your family and you're getting questions and they're like, "Hey, what are these settings?" And it's like, I'm eating dinner right now. I don't know. I'm not sitting in front of Lightburn. Like,
Mhm. It makes me smile though when I get that message. Like, thanks for the quick response. Um,
yeah, for
there's
sure.
actually going to be a review of our company coming out on YouTube from another YouTuber who I didn't know that he was testing me. He asked me like a 5-part question, and I just at first I'm like, call me or text me. This is too much. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I got a second. So I actually broke it down and answered every one of his questions. And it was within like 3 minutes of him asking me the series of test questions. And then he sent me a text. Hey, that was me. I was testing you. You passed.
Nice. Like,
So,
dang, man.
so that
What the
was pretty
heck?
funny.
Which kudos to you,
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm excited for that to come out from him. Jeff says, I love the hat clips. I made some this past weekend and gave them to some of my best friends at work. That's awesome, Jeff.
Yeah, love the hat clips. They are, they're definitely like all the rave, and it was awesome. You're the one that brought those to market, so I think I got them. I'm wearing them right now. Literally.
I don't know if you know a Gary Vaynerchuk at all. I love that one. That metallic look that it has. I want to try to duplicate that.
Yeah,
What that was
I
with a
think
diode?
it was. That's kind of hard to see in here.
I think
Oh, there
it's
you
the
go.
diode that gave it that really unique look.
Yeah, it is a little bit different than like this side I did with the fiber.
Yeah.
Which, that's got that white like you would expect to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Like that.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I got a blue one. I did a blue one.
Alan the Maker. And for the record, I did not invent the hat clip. I don't know if you're a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk at all, but I've read most of his books, and he grew up working in his dad's liquor store, and instead of like selling the most popular wines where they're making some of these like small margins, he created a market for less expensive wines and marketed them and sold them. Um, it's not like he was trying to price gouge anybody by doing that, but he like, instead of talking about the same like whatever Merlot that everybody else is talking about, it's like,
Hmm.
oh, have you had this Bordeaux? You've got to try this wine. And he like created a market and then really exploded his dad's liquor store, which then turned into wine library.
Wow,
um
that's
so if you
really
don't
interesting.
follow any Gary Vaynerchuk, definitely check him out. He's got some good stuff, and that's really what I've tried to emulate and what I've done. Whether it's the sales technique or marketing, try to really do everything that he does.
I will definitely check
Michelle,
it out. Taking
you
notes.
you should. Michelle says recommendations on settings for a hat clip on a diode. My second order came in today. I don't have a
Uh,
diode yet.
what wattage? I mean, it really depends on the
Yeah.
diode. There's a lot that goes into that. How you focus depending on the diode. I run my machines not necessarily harder than everybody else, but I mean, I'll run ramp tests and I'll find the focus. I'll do a lot of studies and figure out which orientation, if I scan at 0 degrees or 90 degrees, gives me a smaller spot size, which gives me more definition. So
Mm-hmm.
like on that little hat clip, to get a photorealistic image on a hat clip on a thing that's like the size of a quarter almost, and to get full quality on the image, you really want to make sure that your material, your laser's focused right to the surface of the material. You're scanning that, and whatever orientation gives you the finest beam. I think I'd made that hat clip on my Acmer P2. It's a 10 watt.
Okay.
I 90-degree scan, 508 DPI, 60 millimeters a second.
Is there a good
30
resource for diode settings? Michelle said she's got a 30 watt.
watt. Uh,
And for an example, Michelle, and correct me if I'm wrong if this is the same with diodes or not. I use the same settings on a hat clip, as a business card, as a wallet. On my fiber, I use the same settings. I'm not, if I'm not doing like a photo or something like that, I'm just ripping with the same settings. Is that the same for you?
they are usually very similar. As long as the coding on it is kind of similar. I think the coding on the wallets are a little bit tougher to get through for the diode than the fiber.
Mm-hmm.
Fiber's got a really strong, like powerful at the point of contact. It's got more energy.
Mm-hmm.
So the diode, like I use the same settings on the hat clip that I use on a business card, to your
Okay.
point, because the coding and the type of material is very similar.
Yep. Heidi said she
So yeah,
uses the anodized aluminum settings, which would make sense.
yeah, it was that next CS, which that makes sense.
And above all else, I know it's tough when you're talking about a hat clip, but truly, you got to plan on buying an extra of something to run tests on. I know it's tough, but at the end of the day, if you want to get the best results possible, buy something extra. I actually changed things up at our booth when we were at one of the conferences, because people would come up and they would buy one wallet or one belt. I made it like 3 times the price to buy one of something as to buy, if you bought 3 or more, you could practically get, 3 for the price of one. Because I wanted to encourage people, like, I know everybody wants to ask what settings are, but at the end of the day, every laser, if you have 200-watt lasers, for example, my 100-watt CO2 laser here, it's 100-watt, but it was rated at 120. You may have a glass CO2 tube, it's rated at 130. And so our settings are going to be completely different from each other. So you really do have got to run some tests. You can't be afraid to waste some material. I don't know. I didn't mean to go on a rant there. What's
Nope,
up,
I
Renato?
totally
How are you doing?
agree. I'm like, I don't care how you feel about it. That's the right way to approach that when if you're getting into a new material is to buy extra, run the test. If you really want to maximize and get the best quality that you can, you got to run tests to find the settings.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Mm-hmm. Test, says Larry. Pam says, do you recommend using jog to hold the hat clips, or can we set something like rice to hold it on? I don't know what jog. What do you mean by jog there, Pam? For example, I'll pull my jig. I've got an order I got to finish when we're done here. But so I've got this jig that holds 6 hat clips, goes in the fiber laser, and I load them on here. I've got a fixture plate that this snaps into, and that's an easy way. Oh, a jig. Okay, so that is
Yeah.
I work with a Live Pixel.
Yep.
They're good people. Daniel's kind of great in the community, and I try to partner myself and our company with people that are like-minded, and work with them. So Daniel at Alive Pixel, he is very heavy on the community and teaching people things. So that's why I've partnered with him with our jigs. So I sent him samples of all of our products, and then he made jigs like this for the things that we sell, which was pretty cool.
That's
He's
awesome.
got a jig for our belts. So now you can finally know which way does a men's belt go and which ones or masculine and feminine. We've got that for our Dexter wallet. You've got a jig for the plate that goes around the wallet. You've got one for the wallet. I really like his design. He doesn't really cut any corners. He really does a good job with the designs that he makes for the jigs.
Yeah, he's been designing for a long time. Daniel is a class act. I'm sure. I've got a group discount code for a Live Pixel. I'm sure you probably do as well.
I do, yeah.
Like you said, I absolutely want to partner as well with anybody that can offer more value to the group.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like a trusted vendor. Absolutely. I would recommend Daniel for his jigs.
Awesome. Let's see what else. Thought I saw a bunch of comments, but Molly's just having conversations in here. Come on. And to be
That's
honest,
okay. She's stirring it up.
before we had jigs or really knew what we were doing, I have a video on it, but I literally threw a piece of cardboard in the CO2 laser. I cut a 30 mil or not cut. I engraved a 30 millimeter by 30 millimeter square, placed the hat jig in the square, and then I refocused on my hat clip and I engraved it. So you don't have to have a fancy jig. It definitely makes things get a lot faster and more what am I looking for, efficient.
Yeah, if you're producing a lot of them, especially if you're doing like batch engravings, like that jig you showed, I mean, that would be really, really good for doing a batch engrave. Even with multiple different designs on there, it doesn't matter. When you have the jig, that's
Yeah.
like one of the benefits of the jig. But there's nothing wrong with the quick and dirty method, like you're saying. I mean, I think that's how a lot of us start. I still to this day, I've got a couple jigs. I got some L jigs and stuff like that for the diodes. But yeah, I did the same thing when I engraved those hat clips. So
is anybody watching that ordered on Sunday and got some free jigs? Anybody that ordered on Sunday got a free jig.
yeah, I saw
Actually,
that. Those are really cool. Those are
they got
really
2
versatile.
pieces. They got one
I
of
love that.
these. This works really well when you're trying to really get that something dialed in on your fiber laser. You can make some nice fine adjustments with this one. I've used it to do wooden spoons on the CO2 Galvo. These are really, really helpful.
Yeah, it looks really versatile. So I saw that post and I was like, wow, that is really cool. That's
I
really
tried
awesome of you to offer that as well.
when we got our 3D printer. This is why I got it. I wanted to just be able to throw out a freebie, because I think this is really, really useful.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I could see where that would be extremely helpful. I'm like, Got to
You
place an
should have
order,
played.
dude.
You
I
should have
know
placed an order.
I was gonna, but I should. Next time. I'll keep my ear to the ground.
You don't have a 3D printer?
I have a 3D printer. It's still sitting in the box over here. I've got so many lasers that like I don't even have desk space. Like you can't see. There's another diode. Like on the other side of this diode, there's another
Yeah,
diode. I think X tool's on the wall. Literally,
that's
it's hanging up
funny.
here in the corner. I got one sitting on this desk right here.
I
I'm
need to buy
surrounded
one
by
of
diode
those.
lasers.
I need to buy one of those diodes for you from my dad for Christmas. You got
Hey,
an
just
extra
let me
one you could
know.
sell me
I,
cheap?
absolutely,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Hopefully my dad's not watching. Michelle says she needs a new fiber laser now. Well, truly, Michelle, that's why I got the one that I did, because I wanted to be able to show you guys content and show you a very affordable laser. And in my opinion, you're really not limited with 90% of what we do. We could use that. I would say even higher. Like almost
Yep.
everything that we do in our business, like where we're selling to customers, we could do with that 30 watt. We don't need the 50. So I wanted to be able to
I would
show
have
that
to
to you
agree.
guys. I want to say Renato Luna says, I'm learning how to work the laser, trying to teach my son what little I know. What laser do you have? What kind of laser you teaching him with? Got a couple of diodes. Okay. We'll definitely check out some of Alan's groups that he's posted. Alan the Maker on YouTube, he posts some content on there. I'm sure, is that primarily with the fiber or a little bit of everything
Uh,
on YouTube?
most of it is actually with the diode. I do have some of it with the fiber. A lot of my fiber stuff I have through like reels on my Facebook page. So
Okay.
like on my Facebook profile, I've got a lot of reels. Probably got like 100 something videos of anytime I engrave something on the fiber, because it's so quick, it's really easy to just take the phone. And I'm like, oh, video,
And
content.
it's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Hat clip, 2 seconds.
Yeah. Let's see. Brian said he's putting stuff in his cart now. That's funny.
Awesome, man.
Brian said he's got 2 3D printers. What kind of 3D printers do you have, Brian? When I wanted one, I mean, as busy as we are, I did not want to go out and get one that I would have to tinker with. So everybody said, get a bamboo, get a bamboo. So I got a bamboo P2, I want to say. So I think it's the one without the enclosure.
Mm-hmm.
And literally from day one, you hit go and it just does it. Like no tweaking, no messing with any settings. It's been a dream.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think, honestly, I was looking at that one. If I get another 3D printer, if I have the capacity for it, that would definitely be the one that I would get, is that
Yeah.
the smaller one. And like you said, that's what I hear is you take it out of the box and you print a benchy, and it's like, bam,
And I
you're
bought it
ready to
used
go.
from a friend. I bought it from Chris in Grand Rapids.
Oh, nice. Chris
Yeah,
is a
because
hustler, man.
he is. He wanted to get a new one, and I'm like, well, I'll buy your old one, and there we go. Renato says he's got a Creality Falcon Pro 2 60 watt. They make a 60 watt diode.
Yeah, I think they're getting into 70 watts now, so it won't be long
What?
before we start breaking the. Yeah, I have a Falcon Pro, just the Pro, not the 2. This guy. He's a 10 watt, which the chassis is not as good as the Pro 2, but this is like $120 laser.
Yeah.
Really entry level. Like
Yeah.
Creality. I mean, the 3D printer I have is a Creality Ender 3 V2, so
Okay.
like it was $100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one we have at work is like $100 3D printer, and we've done great work with it. I can't complain at all. He also has a Elegoo 20 watt. And then he also has the X1C and a P. Oh, those are 3D printers. The
Nice.
P1P and the X1C. I think those are 3D printers. And then he said he's going to get the Carvera Air. Will be here soon.
Oh wow.
I don't know what that is. What's the Carvera
Can't wait to
Air?
see that one. So the Carvera Air is like a fully enclosed class 1, but it's a laser, a CNC router, 3D printer, all in one
Wow.
chassis. Yep, you swap the heads, or it was modular or something like that. Yeah, I've seen that. Very interesting concept. So I can't wait. You definitely share some of what you make, because I want to see
Yeah,
pictures.
Join some of the groups, and don't ever be afraid to share some content. Guys, we've got about 10 minutes left, and I am going to give away some hat clips here to some people that are watching. So throw some comments in there. If you guys want some hat clips, what would you engrave on them? And then do you have any other questions for Alan or myself while we finish up? If you've got anything else, throw it in the comments and we will answer your questions. But in all seriousness, I would really like to get one of those lasers from my dad. He's in the group. I don't know if you've seen him comment. Anytime I
I've
post
seen him. I think
anything,
he's commented on my stuff. He's really wholesome, man. I'm like, oh, he's like, that's awesome. I'm like, thanks, dude. Like, I genuinely appreciate people's opinions. Especially an outsider looking at an opinion is like, well, that's really validating.
he always I want one. Like if I post anything, either he'll post I want one or he'll message me I want one of those. Like I'm just here goodwill.
Yeah.
Jeff
That's
says,
probably what it feels like.
Jeff says, I would like to see a jig hold the hat clips. The comments are rolling in. I can't read it. I would like to see a jig that will hold the hat clips up so it makes it easier to engrave on the rounded end. I stand them up and lean them up against the block now, but a jig would definitely make it easier.
Oh, nice.
That's
an interesting concept.
So I have
so
done
you engrave
that.
all three sides.
So he must be doing the curve then.
Yeah, that's cool. I could see, like especially a fiber laser. You can absolutely get text on there. So
yeah, I did that. I did some, I guess it'd be vertical text going down the edge there. So I could see that, and I think something like this would make it really easy. Honestly, you could probably use it multiple ways.
You just take that fold and you fold it up, so it's kind of like, or like this. All right, Daniel. I don't know if you're watching.
Challenge accepted. He said no. He's not here.
Oh. Well, dang.
He probably would say challenge accepted though.
For sure. That sounded like something he would say. I was like, oh, dang.
Larry says I'm going to try to do a photo on one. That's a good idea. And Larry, your profile picture always throws me off. You're over in Muskegon area, right? You did the whiskey show this weekend.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I've talked to Larry a little bit recently.
Oh, really? I'm pretty sure that's him. But his profile picture looks just like someone else, and it always throws me off. Heidi said she's been wanting to put school logos on hat clips.
That's a good idea.
Ginger said she'd engrave fire department logos. That's a popular one. We've done those for the local fire departments.
Any type of B2B, those I would see the hat clips. Really, really good market. B2B. My wife's on the PTO. I was just telling her today, like, hey, she had a PTO meeting. I'm like, come on, like, well, just get it out there. Just tell people, pencils, whatever, whatever it may be.
Pens, pencils, hat clips, hats.
Yeah, all that.
Molly says she wants to get more into schools on the hat clips, marketing to school fundraisers, etc. I don't know what she's doing with her time. She should be marketing that and working on that.
It's an untapped market, so she's not wrong. Like I was just telling my wife today, like, come on, get me in there.
Molly was a teacher, so she's got great connections. Nice. She also subs at the school right now too.
Oh, even better. So you just bring them and be like, hey, look at this.
Yeah. Michelle says you probably told your dad that a time or two when you were growing up. I'm sure that I did. I think I was a little bit of a bad kid sometimes. Jeff says he likes to put a name on the curved side. I'm really gonna have to get into that.
Yeah, I could see that. Or like if it's for a baseball team or something, you could put their name and the number, team logo on the top.
I do love curling around the edge, especially. I don't think I did on this one, or I probably don't have one handy. But whenever I'm engraving on them, I always like to bring it down a little bit so it just rolls over that edge, so that when you are looking at it like this, it just kind of gives it a really unique look.
Yeah, like full wrap hat clips.
Mm-hmm. Pam says she wants to do a picture of her grandkids. She also wants to do a picture of her dad for her siblings. Dexter's here. What's up, Dexter? I hope you're still here. I've got to, as soon as I'm done with this, I got to finish your order of hack clips. Got to load it on the jig. I tried to finish it up before we went out to dinner, but I did not get a chance. Pam says her church is having a tournament and she wants to put the tournament logo on them. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right. We don't have a ton of people. What's going to be the most efficient way for me to do this? Do we have is our chat with just us here? There it is. All right. I'm going to message Alan. I'm going to send a number. All right, guys. I'll do 2 numbers. We'll give away 2 mixed packs of hat clips. And the person who picks or gets the numbers closest to those numbers. So guess a number between 1 and 100, and we'll give away some hat clips. A number between 1 and 100. I've got the YouTube comments open and the Facebook comments open. That's the best way I could think of to do it. Normally, I would copy and paste all of the names into a spreadsheet real quick, which works sometimes, but it can take a little while. We got Jeff, 78, 33. Pam, I think, is one of the closest so far. Maybe I should have done a smaller spread since we only have like maybe 20-some people watching. All right. Anybody else want to guess between a number between 1 and 100? I got no exact matches yet. Let's see. I think that's almost everybody there. All right. So we've got, it's going to be Heidi and who was that? Brian. Heidi and Brian. You guys are the closest to my numbers. Shoot me a message with your, Heidi, I think you've just got an order from me. I probably have your info, but shoot me a message on Facebook, Heidi and Brian, and I will get you those hat clips sent out for you guys. How many times can you guess? Well, we picked some winners now, so we're all good. Heidi and Brian, shoot me your info, and I will send those out for you. Alan, do you have anything else you want to talk about? Or in closing, do you want to run through some of the socials? I feel like we kind of touched on them all, but you could mention them again. That wouldn't hurt.
Sure. So I have a Facebook group that's dedicated to like AI art, my work when I share it, and honestly just sharing tips and tricks. And it's called Laser Engraving Tips and Tricks, free image art files. I'll post it again here in the comments. And then the overall image art group is called Free Laser Engraving Files. That one's pretty straightforward. Free laser engraving files. And then obviously my YouTube, Alan the Maker. Subscribe, like the videos, leave me comments, give me criticism. That's how I grow. That's how I grow for sure.
Awesome. Anything else? That's it. Are you on TikTok at all?
I am on TikTok, Alan the Maker. I haven't posted a lot of content on TikTok. I did mention maybe giving away a seat of Imager for a month. I don't know if that's something that everybody's interested in, but maybe we can close it by, I'll give away a seat of Imager to the group. We'll do it just like you did it. If anybody out there has been wanting to try Imager, now's your chance. Now's a great chance. And I appreciate everybody watching, of course.
Yeah. Do you see the private chat? That is insane, guys. That looks like it is engraved in a rock. That looks so 3D.
Yeah. No Photoshop. I know it's hard to see when I post the pictures. It's like, well, what's really going on there? But no, they look like that.
That's awesome. You want to throw a number in the chat there, and then what spread do you want to do? Should we go? It's up to you.
How many people are watching? I can't see on
We're probably like 15.
We can do out of 100 again.
Out of 100? Okay. All right, guys, pick a number again. 1 to 100. You're going to be getting a 30-day membership or 30-day trial of Imagear. Pick a number again between 1 and 100. And
I'll
then
send
the
it to you here
closest
in the
person
private
will
chat.
get a 30-day trial of Imagear. We got 40 from Brian, 9, 45. And I would say since we have such a big spread, I'll keep calling the numbers out if you guys wanted to guess a second time. I got 1, number between 1 and 100.
The one, the price is right. You know, it's a good, solid tactic. Solid tactic.
62 from Ginger. Number between 1 and 100. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. I cannot believe those aren't three-dimensional. We got 75, 56, 87, 92. That was some second guesses there. Anybody really close? Oh my gosh, that's the same one from the hat clip. Is that on wood
it
or
is.
metal?
This is wood. Same material.
Oh my
Same material.
gosh.
Yeah, my little dude, he likes to get down on the wacky packs from Sonic. But you can
That's
even see the
cool.
texture, the designs on, everything I'm showing was prepped in Imagear. I mean, this one's AI, but it looks kind of like a real photograph.
That's cool. That's really cool. Any of those numbers, what's the closest number? I'll run through them one more time.
I think
49, 45, 1, 62, 75, 56, 87, 92, 60, 21, 66.
I think 75 was the closest.
All right. 75 was Renato. That's cool. He's the one that had the couple different diodes, and he's got that new one coming. Renato,
Oh,
shoot me a
nice.
message. Oh, no. I clicked on his name. I should not have done that. That controls the whole live stream. Renato, shoot me a message, and I will get your info so we can get that to you. I'll connect you with Alan. But man, those are some great images. You are a rock star.
Appreciate it, dude. Yep, the number was 72, if anybody was wondering. So
Awesome. Thank you very much for giving that away. I think that's awesome. Thank you for coming on and chilling. We'll see you,
thank
I'm
you.
sure, in some of the groups.
It's an honor to be on. So
definitely check Alan out on all of his socials. You guys know where we're at. We're on Great Lakes Laser Supply on pretty much everywhere. Our website, our Facebook group, our TikTok. I post a lot on TikTok. That's kind of where we got our social media following kind of started. If you would have told me I was going to be going on TikTok, I would have never believed you. But
yeah,
it's a good time.
same. I should do more on TikTok because it's definitely a little bit more trendy right now than some of the other social medias. So
it pulls in,
especially for
pulls in a
short
couple
videos.
extra people. Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
Especially on the shorts, it's like really, and they got a really good like image editor. Like when you bring in all your videos and stuff to cut it and edit it. Theirs is pretty intuitive, honestly.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here, guys. Thank you for watching. You guys have a good night, and we will see you soon. Make good choices.
Thank you, Blake. Take care, dude.
All right, you can stay here, Alan.